Regulatory policy is not what most people think of when they look to government for help. It is rare for a regulatory issue to be at the top of the list of what Americans see as the country's most pressing problems. Yet, in terms of its impact on Americans' lives, regulatory action has made a large difference. Automobiles today are much safer than they were a few decades ago as a result of regulations requiring seatbelts and airbags. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that seatbelts save 15,000 lives annually, while airbags save an additional 3,000 lives. Cigarettes were once unregulated, but since the 1960s, manufacturers have been required by the federal government to place warning labels about the dangers of smoking on cigarette packs. At the state and local government levels, bans on smoking in public buildings and accommodations have been widely adopted. In the 1960s, more than 40% of American adults were cigarette smokers. Today, that number is 20%. As the number has fallen, so has the incidence of lung cancer, emphysema, and other smoking-related ailments. A 2014 Yale University study has estimated that in the 50 years since the Surgeon General's report came out on the adverse consequences of smoking, 8 million lives have been saved in the United States through anti-tobacco regulation. Well, how many lives is that? Well, it's twice the number of everyone currently living in Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, Dallas, Atlanta, and Minneapolis combined. It's more difficult to come up with a reliable estimate of the benefits of the regulatory cleanup of America's air and water, but it's undoubtedly part of the reason that Americans' life expectancy has increased by 8 years since the Clean Air and Water Acts were passed in the early 1970s. And that's not to mention the recreational benefits of these laws. Seldom today are Americans told to stay indoors because the air quality is at a dangerous level, or to stay away from the water because it's too polluted for safe swimming, boating, or fishing. I could go on and on about the benefits of regulatory policy: safer working conditions, minimum wage protections, safer foods and drugs, protections from predatory lenders. The full list would be very long. There's no question that government regulation can be taken too far. Overregulation is not sound policy. On the other hand, America's problem in the past was underregulation. Fixing that problem has added immeasurably to the quality of Americans' daily lives.